think one of the biggest surprises in Thunderbolts is that the Void isn't cheesy. He's not this corny villain that's, spoilers obviously, but he's not this corny villain that's like, oh, I'm just depression, right? I'm this villain that you have to punch out and take down in a number in explosions and superpowered attacks, right? It's a character that is, it's basically weaponized depression. Really, it's weaponized depression. And I think that's such an interesting concept, again, and this is going off somebody who's not familiar with the comics or this character. I know very little about Sentry, so I'm just going strictly off of the film. And in the film, I find that the Void, albeit I wish there was a bit more of him, but I get that like he's such an interesting concept for a being, Bob, to get these powers and to become this incredibly superior being, the Sentry, how quickly it kind of changes him. And then within a second, he flips into this evil kind of, this evil shadow of himself that is all of his doubts, all of his fears, all of his trauma, all put into a single physical manifestation. And I think it's really interesting. And the thing is, the whole ending, the concept of the ending is just, hey, we are family. We are your friends. So they all kind of get around him and they help Bob and they support him with this kind of group hug, pull, support kind of thing. And it's very easy to make that cheesy, right? But I think what the Thunderbolts does really well is the moments they have between the characters are built on authentic experience. So when they're having their witty banter, when they're talking to each other, when they're dealing with each other, it's always situational. Like it deals with what's actually going on. And it's not in this, if they're fighting a bunch of guys when they think they could get killed, they're not making jokes in the middle of that, right? I'll give a great example. In the part where they have to jump up the tunnel, right? They're still in the base underground, and John Walker, they're in the tunnel, and he tries to jump straight up. He's like, yeah, let me try to do this. He jumps up, he falls straight down on his back. There's a quick little jab at him. Ghost is like, oh, dude, why don't you do that again? It's a little funny little jab, and then the next sequence is them going up the tunnel back to back, right? It's hilarious. It's really funny. Albeit now later in that same sequence, they try to stage a way to get out from all these guards that are in front of the exit to this facility. And what do? They come with a plan, whatever. The plan fails. And John Walker is stuck in the dark in the front of this in this facility, right near the entrance. And there's like 30 guys coming in with weapons, right? Now we know that, they're going in non-lethal. He doesn't, right? And so there's no joke. There's no like, oh, I guess I gotta. There's no joke. He does say, I guess I have to handle this, but it's in a very serious tone. It's not like this. Oh, we know they're gonna be all right, kind of thing, And then the sequence after that is really awesome. They show them getting out, and then he kind of does his thing, but it's very serious, right? And then and it all leads up to the end of that sequence where Bob seemingly sacrifices himself. So all that to say that having moments like that, it actually builds this sense of camaraderie, and it makes sense why we care about these characters and why they care about each other. We see like Bob sacrificed himself when he didn't know he was gonna survive that, or at least we didn't know. You know what I mean? So it makes it authentic. And so when you come to the end, when the Void is defeated with like a hug, I guess, it's not really that simple. And I think that the themes of needing support from your friends, from your peers, it's not necessarily like, oh, they're going to make everything a lot better. They're going to fix everything by just listening. But it's nice to know you're not alone. And I love the kind of duality of Yelena and Bob and even, I would say even U.S. Agent. And then kind of having Bucky in there to kind of assist where he can, and Ghost to kind of go along for the ride as well and help. I think dealing with these themes in a superhero film is really interesting because they're not typically handled, really. They're kind of skipped over, to have all these senses of fear, of this sense of loneliness, you know, especially these people who can do all these amazing things, who've done all these amazing things, save lives and have abilities, and they still suffer from the same human dilemmas. So I think it's a really interesting film. I think it's fun, and I recommend it. I recommend to watch it. I don't know. I doubt this is going to follow into any other Marvel films when it comes to how the tone is or whatever it may be. But for a film just on its own merit, I think it does a really great job of telling a encapsulating story and having a great wrap off for everything. So thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed this quick little tidbit. We'll see more content coming in soon. I'll check you guys later. Peace.